been a while since I was in studio. I actually had a music intro.
Nice.
Yeah, it adds something like an ounce, a stitch of production value. I don't know. Instead of me just throwing on the mic and going like, "Hey, no."
Somebody gets their music on.
Yeah, my brother.
More of your brothers. How's his band doing?
Oh, that band is dead now.
Oh.
As are his music dreams entirely. It's actually the saddest thing I've ever heard. Like when we were kids, he was the one that was like motivated about. I didn't even have dreams. Like if you, so okay, I win the sad wars, but
Right.
he had a goal where he was like, I am going to be an artist. Like he went to college in LA one year before my dad passed and was like there trying to make it happen in a band. And then he was in bands for much of his early to mid 20s performing live at venues in the area.
That's nice. Good for him.
Pretty good. Yeah. I mean, he was doing something and I was like, that's cool. He was on stage. Like, I always liked comedy, but it didn't click in my stupid head. I know you're like, hey, John, you're a smart guy. I'm really dumb in a lot of ways. Like, I guess it had to come from somewhere. You know, it's like a zero-sum game. And so it wasn't until I was like in my late 20s, I was like, I should perform comedy live.
So what does he do now?
He's a guitar teacher and he makes like,
nice.
Yeah, he makes good money doing it and he's his own boss and all that. But like, it's America. So he pays Christ knows what for his insurance.
Wow.
And you know, just he gets nickeled and dimed here and there, paying whatever in taxes, and yeah, I don't know, man. So he is his own boss.
Does he only teach like electric guitar? Does he do acoustic?
No, he does anything. Like he's really got a knack for instruments, which again, something that skipped me in the family. I did drums for a while.
Gotta have rhythm to do that.
The short bus of the instrument world. Yeah, I do have rhythm because of it. That's nice.
That's good.
There is in every band class a really like painful 4 months where they're teaching the white kids rhythm, like on the drums, and it's just like, no, drum away the music, you dumb bastard. And then like I guess that scene from The Jerk where
right,
you know, he finally starts dancing along to whatever, Steve Martin's tapping his toes or some crap that will kick in at some point. You're like, oh, my foot works in syncopation with my wrist. It's a weird thing, but it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I did. I played saxophone for 4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you do anything with it now?
No. And it's actually, I thought about the other day. It's funny that you brought up that your brother teaches guitar, because I actually was thinking the other day, I was like, I need to go back and like learn piano or learn guitar or something along those lines, because a saxophone isn't something that you can just be like, sit down and I'm going to play the saxophone for somebody. But if you know how to play piano, like you're in a lobby of a hotel, might be a piano there or something, and then you just go sit down and tickle the ivories and entertain people.
You can put on the shades and pretend you're blinded.
I mean, a buddy of mine, I still remember to this day, one of the most fun times that I've had. We were in college and we were going to the college basketball tournament, like the conference tournament, whatever, staying at a hotel down in Richmond. And there was a piano for whatever reason in the lobby. I don't remember why, or it was off like the little bar section, and he could play piano. So he sat down and for like an hour, just like would play.
It's a great instrument.
Would play different tunes and like make up lyrics about people in the bar or whatever. And I mean, it was a blast. And I still look back, I'm like, that was so much fun. And it's all just because he could sit down and play little things here and there and go. I've always loved, like, I know they're lame and they're dumb and people are going to hate me for this. I love those dueling piano bar places.
I don't even know what you're talking about. A dueling piano
You've never
bar.
been down like to the fish market?
No.
And gone, okay. There's one over in, what do they call it now? Not Inner Harbor, whatever it is across over in Maryland where MGM is now.
Oh, National Harbor. Yeah.
National Harbor. There's that Bobby McKee's.
Okay.
Dueling piano bar
I hate
place.
the punny name already. Continue.
Well, understandable. Well, the fish market is where I first got introduced to this when I was in
fish market and piano. Yeah.
Call it college.
Peanut butter and jelly.
We'll make it sound like it was legal. So we'll just say I was in college at the time. And you would go down to the fish market, you go upstairs. And they had a guy. This wasn't a dueling piano bar, but they had a guy that would play piano, and you could go up and put like.
Was it like an old fisherman doing sea shanties and stuff?
No, I mean, he wasn't old. It was an older guy. He was great. I don't know. I'm sure he's, God rest his soul, probably by now, because, well, again, you're going back. This is
he got that ivory cancer
25, 30 years ago, and he was pretty old then. I mean, he was probably in his mid to late 50s. So if he's still around, good for him. That's a hell of a run. But you would go and you could like put a tip in his jar and write, and he'd pull it out and be like, "Oh, you want to hear
Billy
this?"
Joel then. That's
kind of sure.
Okay.
And he'd just play and everybody would sing along, and it was so much fun to go with a big group and get drunk and sing to the piano.
That
The
sounds
guy that just
so like wholesome and organic.
It sounds horrific. I know. Everybody out there's like, this is the dumbest thing you ever did. No, we would go and they'd have the big schooners of beer, big giant things
that's
of beer.
living life. That's beautiful. Like you don't understand. Like life today is just like finding something on Netflix to watch, and then when you're too numb, you find some porn, and then you go back to the Netflix. That's it.
Yeah, no.
And then you order food.
We would go down to the piano bar all the time. We'd have a blast because you just didn't have Netflix or anything else. So I like that stuff. So I always think back of like some of the most fun times that I've had, like out with friends and everything, involve just having somebody play piano and you sing along to it, or like my buddy did down in Richmond, just make up dumb lyrics about people in the bar.
No, that is like, you could have ended that story with like, one day we accidentally ran over an old man while drunk and we swore to take it to our graves, and that would still be so much more organic and wholesome than just me like, I play my Nintendo Switch, then I found Reddit porn.
Yeah, I mean, but though I know over like the fish market was fine because going back again 25 some years, I don't remember there being a cover charge to go upstairs. I think you had to, you couldn't just sit there and hang out. You had to either
like
be
a strip club,
right? You had to either have be drinking at the table or order food or whatever. They weren't just going to let you sit there and listen to the piano. But I know over at Bobby McKee's, it's like $30 just to get in. So that's
because there's nothing real about Bobby McKee's.
Well, right, and I haven't been there yet, and they call it a dueling piano bar. So I don't know. I'm afraid I'm going to go there and be so angry.
Don't do it. Don't support that.
It's going to ruin my memories of.
Would you go to a hospital called Johnny McCurry's? No. I think Bobby McKee's. That's so on the nose.
I know.
Oh,
anyway,
God.
So I should probably, my point being, I should probably call your brother and have him teach me how to play guitar.
Oh, please do.
Because I need something in my life, and the saxophone just isn't going to happen. I don't have it anymore. It was actually easy to learn.
Okay.
Because you played recorder in elementary school, right? Because everybody played the recorder in elementary school.
You just sat around playing hot cross buns all day on your saxophone.
Well, the thing is, and keep it clean, the fingerings were the same for the saxophone for the most part as they were for the recorder.
Okay.
So it translated pretty easily.
Okay.
I mean, this is A, this is B, this is, I mean,
I know there's a reed.
There is a reed. There's not for the recorder.
And the reed
at least
break.
Yes. Or split.
And if you screwed up, you'd be like, the reed was off.
It would split. Yes. And you had to have it at a certain level. Okay. And you used to have to, it would go on the neck of the saxophone. You'd have to put wax so it would slide and keep the cork, because it would slide over the cork part. If you didn't wax the cork, it would dry out and crumble. And then you'd have to get it replaced. How do they
expect a kid? I wouldn't trust a kid to administer the insulin to keep him alive.
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, wax a sax cork.
You have to wax the cork on the neck of the saxophone. And
there's a man out there making a tidy living recorking the saxes of children.
There are.
Mark my words.
I'm sure there are. But yeah, I played for 4 years. Then I got to high school and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this.
I feel you were on the tail edge of saxophone still being a thing, like as a almost retro-ish, but still acceptable in a modern band, at least in a movie context. Like I'm thinking you had
well, you got to remember, this would have been, I stopped playing, it would have been 1985.
Okay.
So think about, you had
St. Elmo's Fire with Rob Lowe.
Yes.
Just ripping it on the sax.
But you also had, again, I'll freely admit, I was a loser. I was a top 40 geek.
Sure.
Growing up, you had Huey Lewis in the Tower of Power.
Okay.
That's all horns. And
is that a sex position or a...
No.
Okay.
It was a group.
Nah.
And it was all trumpet, saxophone. It was everything. And that was, I mean, I can remember going to see them in concert.
You could have been a Delaware Destroyer supporting George Thorogood.
And you have to remember Wham. The big thing that everybody had to try to learn when you were in 7th and 8th grade was Careless Whisper, that sax solo from that. So yeah, there was a ton of that.
You could have been the oiled up muscle man from Lost Boys.
Yeah, that's true.
That could have been a career path.
That would have been good. But I mean, I got to high school and then I was like, okay, I'd like to play in like the jazz little,
Yeah.
more fun type band. No, if you do that, you have to be a marching band. Nope, I'm out.
Why?
Not doing it.
Wait, why the line drawn for like marching over jazz? Were you just very sedentary or?
No, I just didn't want to go out on the asphalt in August when it was 95 degrees
Yeah.
and learn how to march. I had zero interest in putting on the band uniform and marching at halftime of a football game. That's not what I was going to do.
It sounds stupid.
It was awful.
That's the kind of stuff that got people laid back then. Like
I didn't need any help with that.
Good for you.
I mean, I wasn't in high school anyway.
Okay.
But I did not lack.
You're a dropout playing piano at the fish market.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't lack for female attention.
That's awesome.
I wasn't having sex because I was too scared that, again, it's the 80s. We didn't have all this information out there at our fingertips.
Yeah.
I was scared to death of pregnancies and everything else. I was like, I don't need to.
I thought you were going to say you're afraid of AIDS. Like I was.
No, that was more. I mean, we got to college and then, yeah, you were, because that was about the time. Obviously, you're being much more open and I'm not going to say aggressive in chasing down women, but I guess that's
caveman style, just splitting their skulls.
Yeah, grab them by their hair and drag them back to the cave, whatever it took. But you were obviously much more active than you would have been like in high school.
Yes,
as far
unless
as
you were like the cool high school kid.
Well, I just mean as far as the perhaps number of partners that you may have in, say, a 6-month time period.
Even I finally got laid in college,
right?
And I was barely trying.
So that's why I had girlfriends in high school. That wasn't necessarily the issue, but I just wasn't having sex. So I didn't need to worry about going to band camp to
get some.
Right.
Was there any like really quality tale
boobs
in that the marching band? Because I feel like if you were in marching band at my high school, Chantilly, go Chargers. I don't remember any top shelf. There.
I mean,
but there was a lot of Bowmans to drink from. If you catch my drift,
you're asking me to go back. My 30-year high school anniversary is this year.
I have my 20 this year.
So yeah, you're asking me to go back quite a bit. I don't remember who all was in the band at the time. So I would hate to say no, there wasn't anybody, and then. Not that anybody's ever going to go back and ask me about this or say that's not true. So-and-so was in it. So I'll say, sure, there might have been
Becky Tom and her D cups.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't remember.
Bouncing around to Let's Go Band.
I don't remember. I was much more into the athletes.
Okay.
I'm thinking now.
Specify female athletes.
Well, yes, of course.
We've got a whole line of inquiry.
Yes, of course. I'm thinking quickly now in my memory as best I can. I think every girl that I dated in high school played some sort of sport, whether it was field hockey. Definitely dated a couple different field hockey chicks.
Every girl that I fooled around with in high school played the game of self-cutting and seeing if they could hide their wounds on their inner thighs.
Although I did do theater as well.
Yeah.
So I did.
You talked about that.
We didn't really date. But I did have a on again, off again thing, but she wasn't an athlete, so I don't think that counts.
I'm trying to think of the tropes of like the girls that you had in high school. Like the theater girls were kind of, I would say,
needy.
Yeah, always.
Needy.
I mean, there's a reason.
No question.
If you've ever wondered how like a dog-faced director is pounding out, like Emmy Rossum, for example, is married to a director. The girls that I find that gravitate towards theater early on, just a black hole of emptiness inside. Yeah. And if you're just the one in the position being like, no, you go here and do that, they're like, what else do I do? And you're a guy, so you can, fill in that blank. You shove your dick in their mouth.
Well,
there you go.
Didn't have that necessarily going on, but
that was answer B on the SAT. There you go.
That's right. Yeah, they were needy.
Yeah,
Definitely.
They were the needy ones.
Yeah.
I felt the girls who were just like inherently hot did field hockey, but like didn't really do, like I couldn't picture them actually caring about a sport because I'm a sexist, if nothing else.
Right.
I figured they were like, yeah, we're just gonna handle this long wooden phallic stuff in front of you and like mini skirts and you can pound off thinking about it.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Even in high school, I never put that
Yeah,
together
you can
again.
picture us experimenting with our field hockey sticks and pick the splinters out later with your teeth.
The funny thing is, because a buddy of mine in college, one of my very good friends, actually worked with me at the college radio station. Of course, knew, because we, like anybody who's friends, you talk about the people that you dated in high school and blah blah blah. So he knew that my background. I dated a girl for a year and a half that was a field hockey player.
Okay,
and when this probably predates, what year were you born?
81.
81. So you'd have been 12-ish, 13-ish, somewhere in there. So you
didn't let me watch.
This is probably
we were cool. Dude.
This is predating probably your Playboy. I imagine
I
you
was
weren't
whacking off at 10, dude. I was a freak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you remember when
Jenny McCarthy.
Yes. Thank you. How did
you
you know that?
Going. I knew her pictorial.
Yeah, because she was wearing what?
She was in her little
field hockey skirt.
Yep,
so that's the one and only.
I like how you thought I wasn't looking at porn at 13.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you guys were doing then. So that's
I was killing my soul.
The one and only Playboy that I own.
Okay.
Is that one, because my buddy went out and bought it and left it on my desk at the college radio station, which, you figure college, who cares? Except we had our professor, who was the academic advisor for it, was a woman, and she was very much not going to find that acceptable. So there's the Playboy,
just sitting.
Jenny McCarthy sitting. Jerry Seinfeld is on the cover. It's the Jerry Seinfeld interview. So we played it off of that, of just like, oh yeah, whatever. I didn't watch Seinfeld. I didn't freaking care. But then the Jenny McCarthy pictorial is inside. And then when she was named Playmate of the Year, we actually, again, my buddy, being a very good friend.
You feel like you backed a winner. Like, I missed those days. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the Stacey Sanchez one like a year or two later, and she got the PMOI. And I was like, that's my girl.
Yes, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
But he actually lined up this interview with Jenny McCarthy. We were going to do a phone interview with her for being Playmate of the Year. And they were doing their college tour and everything else. And I forget exactly how it worked. But as they were doing, Playboy's whole thing was, she's going to do this media tour, and then we're going to decide how the media tour went, which colleges we're going to bring Jenny around to.
Was she singled out at this point?
She was not yet.
Okay.
She was about a year away from it, I believe.
People do not understand how huge she was.
She was monstrously huge when she got Playmate of the Year. I mean, it was ginormous.
See, I don't remember the Playmate of the Year thing being a huge thing. I remember when Singled Out came out.
She blew up right after.
Yeah, you were just like, wow, that girl who was like singled out by Playboy not once but twice is very attractive. Yeah. And then because she was clothed,
right,
you tried to act like it was this organic find. You're like, wow, she looks great in that outfit.
Yeah, no, she just blew up. And so we were like, okay, if we do well with this, there's a possibility. And I don't remember what the parameters were or how they were going to choose. I just remember
you were trying to give her the Huey Lewis Tower of Power.
Yeah, exactly. I just remember I was like, if we do this right, and we're the ones that get Jenny McCarthy to come to at the time I was going to George Mason, obviously, and get her to come to George Mason, and we're sponsoring it because she was going to come and do whatever it is that they do. I don't know. Then we're going to be heroes.
Yeah.
Heroes on this campus. And our faculty advisor got wind that we were going to do this interview, and she told us, no, we could not.
Oh my God.
She said, she's
shaming Jenny McCarthy for having pulled out her Irish Catholic cans.
Pretty much. Yeah. So we never, ever got to do.
I hate that stuff, because if you turn it back on her and you're like, what's the problem? Are you like uptight about women showing off their bodies? And
it was again the early 90s, and we didn't want to fight because we were college kids and we loved working at the radio station.
Have you learned nothing from the Beastie Boys?
I know. If we had, I think we should have pushed for it and just said, hey, this is, but no, we didn't. So we backed off.
Die on.
So I missed my chance to interview Jenny McCarthy.
Okay.
And then
could have been a lifelong friend / lover.
Never know.
Yeah.
Never know what would have happened. Maybe we would have been.
You could have been the one to give her that autistic son. You could have done it.
I don't know if that would have happened, but it'd been cool just if we had won and brought her to the school. That'd have been awesome.
That's good.
And then years later, when I had a huge crush on Tara Reid, pre-surgery Tara Reid.
Oh, back when her boobs looked kind of. Her boobs were the worst thing. I don't know.
Right,
They
but
got
back when
real
she was
butchered.
like normal,
Yeah. Okay.
before
Sure.
she went loco crazy. This could have been about the time Van Wilder,
Okay. So
peak
you're
Tara
talking like
Reid.
you're like 1 or 2 years after American Pie. Then yeah.
Yeah, peak Tara Reid. To
Sure.
me, I don't think
Peak Tara
I don't think
Reid.
she's looked
Not a
any
statement we've heard lately.
well, no, I don't think she's looked any better than she did
Okay.
in Van Wilder.
Is Tara Reid like an all timer for you? Like you?
I mean, for like a year and a half
for that time. Okay.
for like maybe a second or two.
She was the Bill Mate of the year.
Right. But you remember she dated one of the Ravens quarterbacks, Kyle Bowler, maybe. Which
Okay.
one did she date? I don't remember. At one point,
Probably RG3.
no.
Okay.
At one point, she was dating or had dated. Anyway, she was shooting what ended up to be a really bad movie out in Canada. And I don't remember what the name of the movie was now,
Okay.
but it ended up being just, it was horrible.
Yes.
Well, they had, at the time, Steve Hill, my partner, when I was working up in Baltimore, had again known, because we were joking about it, like, hey, if she comes to Baltimore and she, dumps what's his face and wants to hang out with us,
Wants to get Tower of Power.
I don't remember exactly how the scenario came up, but I was like, yeah, I think we were asked like celebrity crushes, if you could have somebody and do the whole, take them to dinner and do all this other stuff, who'd it be? And I said Tara Reid at the time, and I said, oh, and my buddy Steve, who was doing the show with me, was actually a chef as well in a past life. So I was like, I would get you to cook us dinner because you're a chef.
You would put the Rohypnol into the
Like, exactly. I said, because then you could drug her and nobody would be any the wiser. So he had arranged, and this is a classic Tara Reid story. He had arranged for her to call for my birthday because we were on the air for my birthday.
Yeah.
And she was in Canada doing this movie. And of course, there's a time change because she's out in like Vancouver.
Yes.
So we're off the air. Don and Mike started at 3:00. We were on the air from 11 to 3. So they were going to have her call at 2:45.
Okay.
To end the show, my birthday show, with special guest Tara Reid calling to wish me happy birthday. Yeah. Which is it's a fantastic idea. And she screwed it up thinking it was 2:45, 45.
Oh, so she calls 5:45.
Bingo, in the middle of Don and Mike. And of course, the board op back at JFK, Baltimore, live 105.7 was like, I don't know who you are. Click.
Oh.
And had no it. So I never got to talk to her.
Oh, that's the saddest thing I've ever. I thought you were going to say that at least they had her on air and
No, because she didn't
harassed her in the name of comedy.
No, of course, because we didn't give her the Don and Mike 800 number. They gave her the inside line, her manager, the inside line,
like a hotline number
to the Baltimore station, right? To Baltimore.
That's weird that someone calling a hotline got such short shrift.
Well, again, you got to remember, it's a board op just running the commercials for Don and Mike. It's some schmuck that was probably getting $8.50 an hour at that point.
Oh, gotcha.
So
they're
they
not
pick up
broadcasting there.
Yeah, they pick up at 5:45 and they're like, hello, because they're not going to say live 105.7 because you didn't, if somebody misdialed, you didn't want to give out that was the hotline number.
Back when the radio station hotline was a hot commodity.
So you didn't want to say that because that would give out, so you would usually just pick up and go, yeah, hi, this is Rick or whoever it is. And then they, the person like that would be like, oh, hi, Rick, this is so-and-so with whatever media.
Tara Reid.
We have Tara Reid for you. And apparently the kid went, who? And Tara Reid were supposed to call in and went through the whole thing. And the guy was like, yeah, that show ended 3 hours ago.
Wow.
Suck on the dial tone there, PR person.
Wow.
Yeah. So I never got my Tara Reid phone call either for
Please
my
tell
birthday.
me the next day you beat the living piss out of that
No,
kid.
because they didn't tell me that it was supposed to happen. They just kept saying, oh, we got a big surprise for you coming up at the end of the show. And then it never happened.
Yeah.
And so I went with well, you guys were just trying, because I was like, yeah, sure you do. I figured they were just trying to string me along and there wasn't going to be, like, our boss was going to come in and say happy birthday and give us like a $15 gift card
Ray
to
Lewis
Subway or
walked
something.
in and gave you the knife.
Yeah, I mean, something along those lines. And then so when it didn't happen, I was like, I was pretty good trying to build, like right before we get off the air, I'm like, it's a great job building up everything for nothing. Typical of this show, guys. Way to go.
Yeah.
Don and Mike are next. We'll see you tomorrow. I mean, that's literally what I said. And that was the end of it. And we get off the air and I'm like, so what happened? Because I knew there had to be, because they were also happy with themselves.
Of course.
They were so happy with themselves. And you could see they were like, why isn't the phone ringing? Why isn't the phone ringing? Why isn't the phone ringing? It was just
Yeah.
like, why wasn't happening? So I was like, so what happened? And they're like, well, we had Tara Reid calling in, but she's doing a movie. I guess they went late, and I'm sorry. And I was like, whatever. It's cool. I said, thanks for trying, but no
Yeah.
big deal. And then when
Oh, no.
when that stupid board op left us the note of, hey, some PR person called and said Tara Reid, but I mean, you guys weren't here, so I just hung up. We're like,
Oh,
moron.
God.
So yeah, tragic.
That was a really sad story.
It's tragic.
Like,
It's not that sad.
no, it's pretty sad. I don't know. I picture something could have come of that.
Nah, she was too weird.
That kid was like the Terminator, you know, killing Kyle Reese. Yeah.
Just ended.
And now we don't have John Connor.
No. It's
That's
all
some
anyway.
sad stuff, man.
I know. Sorry, we've wasted way too much time on really dumb stuff that happened.
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
the whole
so
show.
let's
It's fine.
move.
No,
let's
it's
move
all
away
good.
from this.
No, I honestly, I just wanted to explore more high school girl groups now.
That's
Like where the
it's
soccer
a little
players stood.
creepy. Actually,
I'm not going to take us by, you know, one of the local talents.
I hope
one,
not.
One of the, you know, we're good there. I was just trying to think what every girl fell into, like sports wise.
Oh,
You know, like was there rugby at your school?
No.
Okay, those would have been the tough as nails girls who probably had some things to figure out. The soccer girls would have been my sleeper pick for like the actual ones in great shape. Like they had the
they had to
ass.
run all
Yeah,
the time.
exactly.
Yeah, sure.
But you couldn't appreciate that as a kid. Like, do you remember? Like, I don't know if this was the case with you, but when I was a kid, up until like 2021 or something, it was just all face and boobs. Like I had no comprehension outside of that, like what made someone attractive. I was just like, she has big jugs, she's thin, and she's got a great face. That's
Whatever
it.
was attractive would be whatever was what you found attractive.
But I didn't like. Maybe it was being like a white kid in the late 90s, but like I didn't know how to judge an ass for a damn for a long time. Like it took me a while to be like, oh, this is a good ass.
Why would you? I mean, again, it just depends on probably whatever porn you consumed so much as a youngster. I would think.
This is something you millennials will never appreciate, and it's the one thing I'll kind of give J-Lo her due on. Like when J-Lo came out,
Jenny from the Block,
yeah, and people see her now, and she's lost every inch of her old Latin ass, like through dancing or whatever the hell. But back when she was young and she didn't have to like exercise 10 hours a day to have some like weird, wiry, you would still hit it shape at age 50.
Right.
Like she had a gigantic fat ass. Like, and in retrospect, in a fun way, but like as a kid back then, you were kind of like Sir Mix-a-Lot, the white guy at the end of the video with his like fingertip under the his thigh. Just like, can I handle that? Do I even want that? Because like white girls didn't have asses in the mid to late 90s. Like I would say early 2000s, Britney Spears kind of first had a dumper on her. I don't know. Like that was the first kind of thick thighed a little bit. But back then it was just like waifs that got implants. Like guys were supposed to jerk off to Meg Ryan, America's sweetheart. You know, like
I don't remember that ever being like a requirement or even a suggestion.
It's how you got into high school. You showed you had your shots and you jizzed to Meg Ryan.
Yeah, I was never a Meg Ryan.
Oh God, no.
Guy.
I mean, she was adorable, I suppose. I'm trying to remember like what I actually wanted to bone as a kid, like who I actually had stirrings in my loins.
I don't remember. I mean, I think we've talked about this before too. I didn't even have like the Farrah Fawcett posters or whoever you were supposed to have on your wall.
Well, yeah, that would make you like
I didn't
55 or some crap. No, I had posters, but I had like
I didn't have posters. I didn't even have
really.
Yeah.
Oh no, I had it was a transition. It was a one-step transition. I had all of the cool guy crap that they sold at the book fair. So like around second grade or so.
Oh, right.
It was just like pictures of like Lamborghini Countach's. Yeah. I had like maybe a F-16 or something on my.
There you go.
Really dumb stuff. Like, what am I supposed to jerk off to metal? You know, like I don't get it. They're trying to give you some weird complexes. And then I hit around 13-ish, and it was just like a wholesale. All of those come down, and you buy a couple of issues of like I want to say like Metal Edge and Hit Parader.
Yeah, no.
And your wall was just like Yeah, it depended how heavy you wanted to get. Like, were you the guy
Vince
with like
Neil and
yes, exactly. Like, did you have the Motley Crue posters? Okay, so I'll say that. Then that was a two-phaser. It was like the Motley Crue / Queensryche / like, are you cool with Cinderella on your wall?
yikes.
And then it became like suddenly Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, Pantera, like the real, like, you will never meet a woman listening to this type stuff.
Yeah, see, I was, again, like I said before, I was a top 40 nerd. I didn't listen to hardly any of that stuff, but I didn't have posters of whoever the top 40 people were at the time on my wall. I just never.
You didn't rock like an Osmonds poster on your wall?
No. Funny you say that. That was absolutely the first concert that I ever went to.
Really?
Was the Osmonds at the Cap Center. I was 5. I got dragged there because my sister, who was older than me, was a big Donnie Marie fan.
God,
so this would have been in the heyday.
Country and rock and roll song?
I barely remember any of it. Again, I was 5. But that is, I can honestly say that was the first concert that I ever went to. Like, paid, dragged there, had a ticket at the Cap Center.
Mine was Merriweather Post Pavilion, Metallica, with the opening act was Suicidal Tendencies, and then the middle was Candlebox, filling in Candlebox, closing with, I believe, You, because they only had You.
Did they open with that as well? Yes. Because they had like 2 songs.
Well, they had You and then Far Behind. That was their huge kind of power balladish. Okay. And then they were filling in for Alice in Chains, which would have been an amazing lineup. But this was after Lane got real into heroin and never performed live again. Well, so we were just like, man, I hope he feels better. I'll catch him this fall.
Yeah.
No, you won't.
Not so much.
Yeah, exactly. The coroner will have a date with him soon enough. But yep, that was my first show. And it was that was a banger, man. I like that.
That's much more impressive than mine.
No, I was proud of it. It was the first I kind of like raised a big, stink about getting driven there.
Right.
And we had to leave before everyone else left. I think we left even before the show ended, much less encores, because it was our first time. So we knew nothing. We didn't know that, like, you can sit there and listen to all of one, you dip ass, like they're going to play some cuts after that.
Right.
And instead we were just like, oh my God, it's been an hour 10. Let's just leave now.
We should probably go before everybody else does.
Yeah. Oh,
beat the traffic.
Back when concerts were just vicious, like people just abused the little kids in the audience. Like people get cigarettes flicked at them.
Yeah, that's a lot different than my concert experience.
Not much happened, but like I saw it. Thank God I was never that abused at a show. And I don't think in turn I abused many kids at shows as I got a little bit older, but like that metal crowd could turn on the little kids in a heartbeat.
Never metal guy. So let's see, what else did I see when I was younger? I went to see Hall & Oates.
I would do that now.
I have in the past.
You've done a
probably
little Wolf
3
Trap?
or 4 years.
Little Wolf Trap?
No, they played at the Verizon or whatever it's called now.
Oh,
it's not. It was MCI Center. Verizon. What is it?
The Sprint Center now. Right?
No, it's some bank, right? Capital One.
Capital One. Yeah, because of the Caps. Yeah.
That's not why.
Well, no, that's how I remember it though. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they were there a couple years ago. I went to see them. But yeah, I saw them on it was 1985-ish, 84-ish, the Big Bam Boom tour.
What?
Still remember the tour?
Hall & Oates?
That was Hall & Oates.
Okay.
That was their album. Big Bam Boom.
Big Bam Boom. What were the hot cuts off of Big Bam Boom?
Dance on Your Knees.
Okay. So you would give a girl a tower of power and then make her dance on her knees. All right.
Whatever works. Actually, I went to that. I was probably 12 or 13, depending on when that album came out. I had it was a family friend. We called her mom and dad aunt and uncle, but it was one of those things where not really your aunt and uncle, but that's what you call them, uncle.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I thought that was a weird Greek thing for the most part.
No, I think it's just a friends thing. Okay. So their daughter, who had babysat me when I was younger, she's probably what, 10 years older than me, maybe even more than that. So she's in her 20s at this point.
All right,
and she's Hall & Oates fan. So I was like, okay, I'll buy the tickets. You have to drive us there because I'm 13. I can't drive. Why this 20-something
I was
decided that she would be nice to her, family friend, this kid that she babysat 7 years ago.
Oh God!
And when she was in high school, and she was like, "Sure, you get a ticket." I'll go.
Weird. That is the weirdest damn thing you've ever said in your life. Like if I were 23 and a 13-year-old was like, want to hang out, I'd be like, I'd rather die.
Yeah, so I have
like
no
AIDS,
idea.
like slow death.
Yeah, I have no idea why she agreed to it, other than maybe she just wanted to go. But it's not like she would like brought friends or anything. It was just her and I.
Was she comely?
This is again 35 years ago now. So you're
know.
testing my memory. She was probably very pleasant. I
Okay.
don't remember.
Maybe she wanted it.
No.
Maybe she was like one of those creepy teachers,
really
like one
sick.
of those really hot 23-year-old teachers.
That's really sick. But so yeah, we went to the Hall and Oates.
All right.
And I remember General Public opened up for them.
Wow, I have no idea what General Public is.
You'd have to look that up on YouTube. They have a couple of hits.
Oh man,
you have to look it up.
Hits that did not escape 1985. Because even you saying "Dance on Your Knees," I'll
look up that whole. Go ahead, you keep talking. I'm gonna look up that
deep
whole
on
album.
Hall and Oates, but like I've listened to like bigger greatest hits collections of theirs. You know, like I'm not just a dude who knows like Maneater. I can name about, I've heard maybe like 20, 25 cuts of theirs.
Okay.
We'll put it that way. Dance on Your Knees has completely...
Can you not bring that up on...
Oh, I can punch it up. Sure. Give me a second. I know you're kind of keying me that direction.
Let's see. I'm going to look up the whole...
YouTube.com. Who are we looking up again?
You're going to look up Dance on Your Knees. Out of Touch. That's
Out of Touch is a slammer. Yeah.
Method of Modern Love was on that.
METH. Okay. Yeah.
There you go. That's that album.
Hold on. So General Public?
Yep.
Tenderness.
Yep, that's the one.
This is
you pull that up. This was a monster hit.
Okay,
from what I remember,
we've got a 3-second countdown through a Sam Adams commercial.
Nice. I like Sam Adams. They should sponsor this show.
It starts with really just pictures of. Okay, now the kids have gotten black, but it did look like an Aryan Brotherhood thing at first. It was just like blonde and blue kids.
One of the guys is African American, I believe. If not both of them, I think.
Oh, no. This guy looks like the evil kid from Karate Kid.
Oh,
okay. Like this is Sweep Him in the Leg Johnny playing the guitar. Oh, yeah. And then there's a black kid just literally dancing in the background.
Yeah.
I guess he's in the band.
He is in the band, yeah.
But like he's literally just snapping his fingers and singing background right now.
You don't remember? You've never heard this song?
Not in the least.
But how...
Oh, the video is bad.
How 80s is this? Just listen to the tune. It's so 80s. I mean, if you asked anyone, if you gave a 15-year-old kid headphones and played this,
he would kill himself.
No, they would instantly go, that's the 80s.
Well, yeah. I don't know, man. Kids are stupid these days. You really think they could even narrow it down to a decade?
Yeah.
Oh, kids are dumb.
This is so classic 80s.
Oh, you have too much faith in people.
Maybe.
They'd be like, is this from 97? Trust me, people are dumb. All right.
Yeah, there you go. There's General Public. They had one other hit too, but I don't remember what the name of it was.
Oh, it was auto-populating. We can visit. There's Never Done That. Save it for later. I'll Take You There.
I think it might have been I'll Take You There.
Hot, You're Cool.
No, I don't remember that one. But anyway, so that's... Why are we talking about this?
That's what happened.
It's
just how it happened.
And you know what? It's your brother's fault.
It is.
It started off with him teaching guitar. That's funny. How he got down this road.
I think what's funny is you mentioned Vince Neil, and I did want to talk about they put a
that's right
the Motley Crue biopic.
Right. It all comes full circle. There we go. Good. Get off of this nonsense that nobody cares about.
Now I just want to play General Public.
Everybody is listening to this going, we're tired of listening to the old man reminisce.
They're clapping
about
along to Tenderness and dancing.
They're not. They're going, would you shut the old guy up?
Dancing in the
his
streets.
Reminiscing of 35 years ago.
They're celebrating the Tower of Power.
Tower of Power is great. You can say that you don't insult them. They were fantastic.
Was that just his backing band? And then
they were an actual group.
Oh, did they get E-streeted? Where like they got subsumed?
No, not so much. I mean, I don't think he toured with them after the initial like maybe Sport and 4. They were kind of like the Wall of Sound type thing back in the 60s. That's probably
okay.
You have no idea. I imagine.
I know Phil Spector.
To say Phil
murdered
Spector.
A woman.
Same thing. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. But yeah, Tower of Power was just the group of. I don't know if they ever put out an album or if they were just studio guys. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But yeah,
like the Wrecking Crew.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did you see that documentary on them on Netflix?
I've
It
heard
is
it is amazing.
phenomenal.
I've watched the first 10 minutes. For some reason, I
if you
ADD'd out on
can
it.
you can get past it is very boring the first 10 15
Okay.
minutes. If you can get past, if you can get a half hour into it, and then
I'll be riveted.
you realize how many songs and
Yeah.
albums. I mean, you're just like, holy cow.
No, they're the soundtrack to everything.
Yeah, you don't, and it's something that none of us ever think about. I mean, it's probably even more so back then, because now you can do so much with the computers, and you can, generate. Oh, I need something that sounds like a violin. I
didn't
can
think
do it.
anything you said sounded old so far until you said the computers, and that made.
Did I just say the computer?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you're like with the computers.
Oh, sorry. Well, okay,
with the personal computer. Here's my Tandy.
Yeah, that's right. My Tandy 1000 or whatever it was. Apple was it?
Here's my C64.
Yeah,
but 2 kilobytes.
It is amazing to think about, and this would be probably for people, their parents or grandparents' generations of the music they listen to. But it is amazing to understand that they played like with the Beach Boys, and then they also played on some Motowns, and it's like the same people were playing all these different genres of music. You just wouldn't.
They were the computer back
you
then.
would never, but you would never think that. You'd be like, okay, the rock guys would play on the rock albums. But no, they were just like, okay, we want you to play. Here's what we want you to play. All right. And they would just
like
go.
A truly great,
it's unbelievable
studio musician really can do that. It's like, what do you want me to do? I'm now doing jazzy crap. Cool. You need some heavy metal shreds. There you go.
Right.
It's amazing to see in action.
Yeah, but the Wrecking Crew people were unbelievable.
Yeah, one of them just died. I don't remember.
I'm sure, there's a couple of them that have just recently died.
One kicked off like a week ago.
Oh, okay.
Like a guitarist, I think.
Okay.
He was just getting his due.
Dick Dale.
Well, Dick Dale died too. Yeah.
Okay.
I love Dick Dale. I actually had a couple Dick Dale albums. Tribal Thunder, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, I used to play that a lot. Weirdly enough, this will bring the show to a crashing halt. Like, I was jamming that album a lot the summer when my dad got sick and ultimately passed. So there's a bunch of music I did that to.
So you can't listen to it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Like, it'll put me in a weird place.
No, I get it.
Absolutely. Like Sting's Fields of Gold. I don't
know why you're listening to Sting anyway. But.
Well, it's for my mom. Like she literally could not have picked 2 albums that would haunt you more if a loved one died. Like, it was her birthday in August and he croaked eventually like October, but like we knew he was sick in August. And I thought I was being the good son going to Tower Records and getting Enya's Only Time and Sting's Field of Gold. And you play those both. And it's literally like we all just looked at each other, my dad, the rest of the family. It's like, we won't listen to this soon because you'll be dead soon and it will haunt us. It was the most surreal, horrible thing. It was just like, turn this off. And those discs are banished from the house.
Yeah. It's awful. I don't know why you're buying Enya anyway, but
like if there were an act to be associated with death and you don't want around, Enya's great. The extent of Enya I want to hear is the beginning of Fuji's Ready or Not, that loop that they lifted from her. That's it. Enya can blow me.
There you go.
That rich Irish bitch.
She's covered.
So
have you seen The Dirt?
I watched it day one. Like, I was a big Crew fan. They were my very first band. And I guess I'm somewhere on the spectrum. I don't know. But like, I got
the spectrum of fandom or autism. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the big A.
Okay.
I got a couple of the puzzle pieces. So
why would you say that?
I don't know. You just get real into crap when I'm into it.
That's obsessive. That's not autism.
It's all the same thing, right?
I guess.
Isn't it? Yeah. So I, as a little kid, really loved Motley Crue, and eventually,
what was it about Motley Crue that you loved? Was it the long hair? Was it the makeup? What is it that attracted you?
Wasn't so much the makeup. Like, I thought, even as a kid, the look was a little queer, to use a technical term. But like Home Sweet Home, I thought was a really catchy song.
It's a really good tune. It's a great power ballad.
Yeah, their most recent album that dropped when I started listening to them was Dr. Feelgood, which is by far probably their best effort.
Right.
In terms of like being catchy. Like
later
on, I guess they were never really great. Like looking back,
like, I mean, it's like anything, but you can look at that for any group.
They were kind of badass for their time. Like a couple years later, you had guys like Pac coming along,
right?
And there was like murder. And you're like, oh, that's a little more badass than just like pounding strippers and doing coke off their jugs.
Right.
But in retrospect, like they're still alive doing coke off of strippers' jugs.
Barely, but yes.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, you know, they're in Bounds level wild, like Ozzy level wild. It's not like the Norse black metal where they're like burning down churches and killing their band members and stuff.
Right.
Like that's again like Tupac, a bridge too far. But I enjoyed them until I got into heavier stuff a couple years later.
Okay.
And I didn't think of them much. Like they were kind of a joke for the better part of the 90s. Like remember when
Right, because everyone went, haha, Vince Neil, great. You
yeah,
got fat and old.
And he got surgery and he looked like melted Vince Neil all of a sudden. It was weird.
Like he looked like we got fat and bloated for a while too. I mean, the drugs will do that to you. So.
And he never, well, see, I think he was one of those guys that kind of just rode a natural metabolism, probably did a ton of blow, and that kept him petite and then and fit for the leotards. And then when you clean up and like you've got 8 things you were shoving into your brain to make dopamine happen, and suddenly they're all gone. You're like, hey, you know what's awesome? Pizza.
Yeah, right.
Like,
give me another round of wings.
Yeah,
that would be delicious.
What are these called? Nuggets? They're incredible. So, but again, people that haven't lived through it won't remember, but this you and I did.
Sure.
After grunge hit, you had that really sad time when all these metal artists were trying to be grungy a little bit. Like Warrant did an album, Ultraphobic, that used all the grunge imagery. Like there was a guy in a gas mask and a hazmat suit. You're like, it's Warrant. You do a song for strip clubs. It's called Cherry Pie and it's an anthem. Like be proud, but you couldn't have perspective back then. Like to not be that new thing, you were a joke. And Motley Crue did like just the eponymous album of just called Motley Crue, and it was like them all edgy. And then they did, I think,
we're depressed too, even though we've been banging strippers for years and doing blow.
Like somehow I've raw dogged 10,000 women and I don't have AIDS, but I'm depressed. No, get the hell out of here.
Right.
You're literally banging Heather Locklear into Pam Anderson. Like people would murder in the name of Allah to be you. But yes, you're depressed. Your life sucks. And it was sad for those guys for a while. And then about 10 years after the grunge bomb dropped, it kind of became like, all right, grunge is played out too. Some of us just want to hear dumb music again. And they started having a bit of a resurgence. Now they're fine.
Right.
Like now there's,
it's the
like acts that they inspired are big, like Avenged Sevenfold, and there was,
idea.
Yeah, I think Black Veil Brides or something. I don't know either.
Idea.
Yeah, but they have a very Motley Crue look to them. Like there's bands, hell, those bands are like 10 years old at this point, like the children of these glam acts. But the whole point is, I at one point read the autobiography that was done with the help of Neil Strauss, that guy who later did a book about the pickup scene, the game. It was a book called The Dirt. And it was an amazing, like the filthy crap they did as rock stars was like, it starts with Tommy Lee talking about an ex-girlfriend of his named like Moose or something like that, who he's like, she wasn't that attractive, but she could squirt. And so that was awesome. So he's just talking about going down on her in the group van and then making her squirt all over like the upholstery and everything when the guys weren't there. And the guys are like, yeah, that van effing stank. And it was just them telling these horrible, like they would stay out banging all night after shows and then to not get caught by their girls who were literally just cool with having to pull their shorts down and be like, I smell woman on you. They would buy a burrito, bite the end off it, and stick their dick in the burrito. Like taking turns banging the burrito because apparently your girl is going to be like, chorizo and eggs and a faint fishiness. This isn't suspicious at all. But like the stories, like Nikki Sixx, I'll give you another highlight. Nikki Sixx goes home, effed up to his apartment complex in LA. One of the neighbors is like, you're Nikki Sixx, go down on me. He's like, all right, I'll eat your box for a while. Next day, wanders out sober, waves to his neighbor, thinking he's like a great neighbor. Neighbor runs away screaming. Turns out she was like Aunt Flo and like a mother, and he looked like Andrew WK on the cover of his album. Like just story after story. And they made a movie on it. And you know what? As much as I hate every music biopic ever, like The Bloated Ray. And you know what? Haven't even seen Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, I haven't
but
either. I have no desire to.
Exactly.
To be honest with you.
But you know what? As a free thing that I just pop on Netflix, it's got, I think, Ewan Greyjoy or whatever. One of the guys from A Real Bastard from Game of Thrones has a role in it. Like, it was great. It's just 2 hours of crap.
Is it better than like the behind the music stuff because they can like actually curse or tell really horrific stories?
I mean, it is the most by the numbers thing that you could do with Motley Crue, where it's like, they're not famous, they're famous, people are dying, they're back together, but like it's a movie.
Here's some heroin.
Yeah, I mean, it starts out with Tommy going down on this girl in the party, and she's spraying all over the other party goers, and I'm like, I don't care what the rest of the movie contains. Like, that is a good way to start a movie. Like, and it was just really cheesy, but when you're not telling me that a dumb biopic that's like, well, here's point A, point B, and we got to get there in 2 hours. When you're just like, this is a dumb piece of crap, and watch some guys like pound ass and do heroin. Like, I can enjoy that. When you're not putting it out as some Oscar winner, that was fun as hell. Like, you should watch it. Go home and watch it. I recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a ton about it. So, and I've heard people talking about it. So it's
really,
is
it getting traction already?
Oh yeah. No
kidding.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I'm listening to satellite radio and listening to the people, different various shows, and they've had whoever the producer director was.
I don't know the film side of things. I think Nikki Sixx, the guy that wrote pretty much all their music, he's kind of been their mouthpiece because he's got a radio show. It's actually syndicated at 98 Rock. He's been a radio host for years now.
No, this is whoever and I'm probably messing up, director, producer, whoever it was that kind of put the thing together, has been making the rounds on all the talk shows. And so I've heard him do a couple of them, and it sounds really interesting.
It was a great watch.
Haven't carved out the 2 hours. I'm still recovering from the last wonderful music biopic that I watched, and that was Escaping Neverland. Which is just
leaving Neverland.
Yes. Well, escaping is what I mean. To me, it would have been escaping. But yes, Leaving Neverland. Wow. Did you watch that at all?
Oh, dude, I watched all 4 hours night of. Like, I
didn't watch it. Was it Sunday, Monday was when it came on? Like the first.
Yeah, but it just streamed. Like, they put both on Sunday night, and I'm like such a whore for HBO.
Yeah, no, I watched like a week later because I was like, don't really care. To me, even before it came out, I've always been of the opinion that he was a pedophile.
Well,
I didn't need this to change my mind because I've always, from the time he had this court case and he was dancing on the van after they said that he was not guilty, I was like, sure you're not. It just seemed too convenient. And then you watch this, and I was like, I was just sitting in the back. I was like one of those people at church that knows everything the preacher's going to say, and I'm just amening left and right. That's right. You better believe it. All that for 4 hours. That's all I was doing. Yep.
You were just a fed up black woman. Like,
well, that, and I'm like looking at the parents like, and again, I'm watching it by myself.
Yeah.
Just because I'm the only one in my house that has 4 hours to dedicate to this. And there's no other reason. But so my girlfriend's like in the other room, and there were
like, what's going on down there?
Well, no, there were a couple of moments where I was like, oh my God, like out loud, which I generally, even watching sports or most stuff, I generally do not comment to the TV because I understand the people in the box can't hear me.
You sounded like when the Pats came back from 28-3.
Right. Like, yeah, exactly. I'm screaming at the television, but I was like, oh my God. And she's like, what? And I was like, I can't really explain to you. It was when he was like, and I think about it, and it's like you have this 40-year-old man and he puts his penis into a 9, and I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
time out. We're gonna take a 30. No. We're gonna take a little break here. We're all gonna regroup. Let's meet back here in like 5 minutes. Because I was like, oh my God,
it is testament to the power of like hearing someone's story or video. Because like,
absolutely,
you're a kid and you learn about Hitler and the Holocaust. You're like, yeah, he's a bad dude. That was a bad thing.
He killed a lot of people. He did.
Yeah, and then you watch Schindler's List. You're like, oh no, he was really bad.
Yeah. Oh, now I get it.
Yeah, now it computes. That was real mean of him.
But I don't blame obviously. The kids,
Not in the least.
because the one I think
dude, that's my first insight into what happens to your brain when you're diddled. Like, these kids were straight, and yet they're like, yeah, I was like really in love with Michael, and you're like, oh god, I guess that would happen.
And then
I don't know.
the kid, whichever kid, and I get their names mixed up sometimes. The kid that came from Australia.
That was Dance Kid. Let's just call him Dance Kid and Act Kid.
There you go.
Because they're different.
Dancing kid who's like the choreographer. He did like Britney Spears choreography and all that stuff, whatever his name is. Jordan something, I think. The fact that his parents came to the U.S. on vacation and went by and saw, and stayed with Mike. Okay, cool. That's really cool that they were able to go and stay there. And then they're like, oh, we're going to go to the Grand Canyon now. And Mike's like, hey, leave the 9-year-old.
I like your manly Michael Jackson. Yeah. Hey, leave that nice 9-year-old ass with me. Gonna ream it.
But that's basically what it was. Hey, leave the 9-year-old behind. I'll watch him. This is before, and I'm sure people now are like, okay, well, maybe a little strange, but you could FaceTime. No. There's no cell phone. There's no FaceTiming. They're just like, complete stranger. Here you go. Here's my son.
He was Michael.
We're going to the Grand Canyon.
I know.
And when we try to call, all of his handlers are going to be like, oh, no, sorry. Mike and Jordy are out by the pool. I don't know.
It'll be Bubbles screaming into the phone and slamming it down.
Get the chimp.
Yeah.
Just why would you ever? So the parents are diabolical. They are horrible.
They're just, I guess, dumb as all hell. They're dumb as all hell. But I
absolutely, I don't care what any Michael Jackson fan says. I absolutely believe those kids. You cannot
100%.
You cannot lie
100%
as they looked in that camera and see the hollowness in their eyes.
They are either an untapped Orson Welles and Brando, or they got diddled.
Exactly. So say if they're lying about this, then get them in the next movie, because that's Oscar worthy.
The next movie.
They need to be in whatever movie comes out, whatever you're putting together. Get
they
those
can play
two.
any role. Meryl Streep has nothing.
That's right. Because if they could pretend that they were diddled by Michael Jackson and sit there, to be able to sit there, why would you want to lie about this?
Exactly. That's the other thing. They're talking about like being 14 and still having to take a D in the A. That's not fun. And people you're just doing it to get what you're getting. What are you gonna get? What are you gonna get?
Closure?
Other than like,
you're not even getting that.
Freaky people on Twitter scorning you and like sending you your home address and being like, there's more where that came from. And you're like, okay, great. This is awesome. It's funny you say that, like, you always knew, because when I was a kid,
I didn't make say knew, believed. I always believed that he was guilty.
See,
always.
I was a kid when I was maybe like a year or two older than these guys when I met Michael.
Well, they say there are more out there.
Yeah. Nah, sad. See, my mom never took me to a Michael Jackson concert. God, I could be making that sweet lie about Michael touching me music.
Here's my only connection. Go back again. We were talking about the concerts you saw when you were younger.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson, I did see in concert.
Oh, what? Rhythm Nation?
I believe it was, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? Complete circle. Won the tickets from Don and Mike.
Oh my God.
There you go.
That is a weird complete
There you
circle.
Go. Won the tickets from Don and Mike.
That is amazing.
Janet Jackson at the Capitol Center. It's horrible.
Really?
Well, yeah, because I forget who her opening act was, but like he came on.
It was Tito.
No, it was some. I really thought about it. I remember, but some R&B guy that went on like 7:30, and he played like 7:30 to 8:15.
Okay.
And she didn't come on until 10.
What a bitch!
I was 16. What? We're having it again. Grandpa, shut up and go on with the show. I had taken my girlfriend, so I guess I was 17 at the time. We had to go to the payphone.
Yeah.
At the Cap Center and call her
mom.
Put
in the nickel.
Yeah, well, it was a quarter. Come on, I'm not that old. We weren't dropping dimes on anybody, Shay. It was a quarter, but we had to call her mom and my mom and be like, it's 9:45. The show hasn't started. We're not going to be home. Because we were like, oh, well, it starts at 7:30. We'll probably be home before midnight easily.
Yeah.
We're like, we ain't going to be home. And they were pissed.
Of course.
But what were you going to do?
You're going to hold up the phone while she does Black Cat.
Yeah.
They'll understand the magic.
Exactly. But yeah, so Janet Jackson, never saw Michael or the Jackson 5 for that matter.
I
was a fan of the cartoon though.
When I do some more stand-up. I'm performing actually at 5 coming up tomorrow. So what?
Nice.
March 26th over at
Mhm.
Unified Scene Theater. The theater we mention all the time here, the improv place that my buddy Sean owns. But I was gonna do a bit with my next 5 where it's like everyone is losing their mind saying like, I'll never listen to Michael Jackson again.
Yes, you will.
First of all, yes, you will. Second of all, it's like, cool. Can I listen to the Jackson 5?
Well,
Like
that's
he wasn't banging any kids then.
Here's my theory. I did after this thing went out, after the HBO documentary,
Yeah.
I was not surprised that there were stations that are like, sorry, we can't play this music anymore. We just can't do it.
How about some Gary Glitter?
Yeah. Right, exactly. But I was immediately, the first thought I had was, well, I'm going to still listen to the Jackson 5 because those are damn good songs.
It's amazing. It's the best stuff on earth.
Yeah, and I have no problem with that.
Yeah. If he's banging a 5-year-old at 5, that's called consent, I guess. I don't know.
But I have, like, in flipping around, or actually, you know what it was? The band at George Mason
Okay.
played some Michael Jackson at one of the games, like right after that came out. And I did find myself going, what are you,
it takes you out of the moment.
Well, no, why are you playing this now? Give it a month.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Give it a year.
Give it a while. But I was like, okay. So yes, people will still play it. And I mean, I don't know that they're making any statement by playing it. I think it's just in their repertoire and they're like, man, we didn't have time to learn anything new.
Exactly.
So here you go. But yeah, I'll still listen to the Jackson 5 stuff, but
I'll listen to whatever, man. I'm so like, cause okay, I'm a kid. I mostly hear it as jokes. Like this is back when you could kind of like joke that a man's a pedophile.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute. Like,
see, I'm old enough to be like, we knew what the wink was with those jokes. That you were telling the truth.
Yeah. It's like, I feel, look, I'm not very quote unquote down with the kids today, but I'll give them this. If there's enough smoke where like people are joking about kids getting banged by a certain someone, they're going to be like, hey, let's just like explore that and make sure it's just some weird joke. But I guess 99 times out of 100, if there's ped smoke, there's ped fire, you know, like,
generally. Yeah.
But then I did hit a certain point where I was like, I think he's just a weird son of a bitch and nothing happened. Then I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, he definitely banged a lot of kids. Like,
yeah. Well, and even then I can remember because I'm old enough that like when Macaulay Culkin was hanging out with him and
big question.
Well,
you think he took it?
You know what?
My mom,
because I see Corey, was it Corey Feldman?
Yeah, my mom was like, do you think he porked Corey Feldman and Macaulay? And I was like, I don't know. Like maybe they were friend zoning him. Like I think he probably made a play for the dick, but they might have been so big.
I'm gonna say exactly. I think that's part of it too. They were both stars.
Yeah.
So I don't think like I totally believe he paid off other people.
His entire game, though, like as crappy and horrible as this is, his entire game was being
I'll make
like,
you famous.
I'm a star. I'll make you famous. Yeah. Like Macaulay's like, dude, I got Home Alone 2 coming up.
Right.
You know, like Feldman, I don't need you. I think Feldman would bang him now more than he would then. Yeah.
I think, but you look at Corey Feldman now, and he says that something happened to him when he was younger, and I totally believe it.
But he maintains it's not Michael.
Well, I know, enough. but I also wonder if that Michael also maybe picked up on that on some level, that like this kid's fucked in the head.
Oh, he's like, I don't want no sloppy seconds.
Well, or just this kid might be he's so fragile.
Yeah.
That
like,
he might.
Isn't it funny that like, wouldn't it be hilarious? Now I'm trying to make some laughter out of some sad stuff, but wouldn't it be weird if like peds framed little kids the same way like you and I frame women? Like, I'm not sticking my dick in crazy. Like the hell with that. That bitch is gonna ruin my car afterward.
Gross.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, again, they all know the truth more than we do. I believe the two guys that are on that documentary 100% because again. Looking at that, the actor dude, not the dancer dude. Dancer dude seems to be way more well adjusted as much as you can be.
The actor dude is very quiet to begin with.
He looks shattered.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you told me actor dude hanged himself like in another week, I'd be like, yeah, that was.
He looked absolutely shattered to be reliving this type of stuff. And again, you look at Jordan or whatever his name is, the choreographer guy,
Jordan Peele. He didn't.
No, I don't think so. For some reason, I don't think that's
He's
it.
just made another hit.
But he looks, I'm not gonna say normal. I'm gonna say as well adjusted as you could be for what happened to him.
Yeah. Oh, his wife was hot. I liked her.
Not really where I was going, but
Sure, okay.
sure, that's fine.
Maybe that's why he's in a better place, because the other guy's wife puffed up a little.
Yeah, maybe. But he just looked, the actor guy looked, again, just broken.
Yeah.
Why would you lie to look that? I mean, that's not a good look. It's not like he did this documentary and people are like, wow, that guy's amazing. Look how healthy he is. Look how sound of mind
he's gotten
he is.
over it.
He's fantastic. Yeah, and celebrities need to just learn, and they haven't. Shut up. Don't say anything. Do you see Barbara Streisand? Her comment.
Is that another concert you saw?
No.
Okay.
But did you see her comments on this?
No.
Oh, you may have to Google this so I get it exactly right, because you're gonna be like,
just give me.
Are you serious?
Just give me.
Something along the lines of, it didn't kill them.
It's going on Nietzsche on it.
I mean,
didn't kill him.
She was just like, the worst part was something along Michael. He liked what he liked, or whatever. I mean, it was like total dismissive.
What does she think this is? Ancient Greece?
Well, right. And she totally dismissive of it. And she goes, well, and they're not dead. It didn't kill them. And you're like, did you see the guy's soul?
Might as well have. Yeah.
It's over for him. So she had to backtrack completely, but she's not the only one that's had to do that. It's like, shut up. Just shut up. If somebody asked you about it, it's a really sad situation. I wish it had never happened.
Yeah, how's that? Even
there you go, done and done.
Even
if you don't believe them,
are big with Michael, just say, "Oh, what a tragedy!"
Right? It's a really tragic situation.
Yeah,
it's sad that he's not here, either to make amends or defend himself, whichever the case may be.
That
just
means
sad.
James Brolin porks little boys. That's
I mean,
what I draw
it's
from
just
Barbara doing that.
Horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific.
You can't watch that and walk away from it thinking anything but that. Like, maybe I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and she just like heard secondhand about it. So you're not invested in it, but
I just think she's a callous bitch.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, this is a woman who's had her ass kissed for 50 years, even with that beat.
By the way, don't get it. Don't get it.
I guess the voice is good.
Don't get it.
I've never heard a ton of it.
No, not a fan. Not a fan. Never been. I've always thought she was a loon.
I know very little about her.
Well, she was in A Star Is Born.
Yeah, the one with
not the new one.
Yes,
the old one,
the middle one. I think there's 3 of them or something now. Yeah,
and everybody, her and Chris Christopherson, I think it was.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to believe that Christopherson wants to wax that.
Right. That's
Christopherson was a handsome dude.
I mean, she was in Yentl.
Yeah,
have you seen?
She pretends she's a dude there, and very little makake is involved.
Yeah.
I've not seen it, but I've seen chunks of Yentl. Like, I saw some kind of retrospective. That
I have zero interest in seeing anything that Barbara Streisand does on any level.
Not a fan of Prince of Tides, then?
No.
Nicholas Nolte.
No, that's a good pull. I don't think I could come up with another Barbara Streisand movie. A Star Is Born, Prince of Tides. I'm out at that point. Yentl, I already mentioned, but that's it for me.
She wasn't Fiddler on the Roof. Now I'm just naming Jewish stuff, right?
She probably did it at some point.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing. No, you're right. You win. You're king of the Barbaras.
No, I don't need that.
Barbara movies.
Awful. Awful.
So
the Dirt much more entertaining, I imagine, than Escaping or Leaving Neverland or whatever it's called.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, because they had the one really sad thing, like Vince Neil has a kid that I knew as a Motley Crue fan. He had a daughter that died of like cancer when she was real little. It's very sad. But that was it. That was the one sad thing. It's literally just like 90 minutes.
Well, it's sad, all the drugs that they were doing and all the lives that they wrecked. That's kind of sad. Because wasn't he the one that got in the car accident?
He killed Razzle from Hanoi Rocks.
Right.
Yes. That's okay. So really, you had 2 things. It's like 90 minutes of just a fire hose of debauchery, and it looks amazing. And then real fast, Razzle dies, and his kid's like, I got tummy ache. And then that's it. Then we're back to life being awesome. Like, I don't know. It was a greatly entertaining film. Again, the price was right and there were zero expectations. Like that's how I want to walk into every biopic ever. If you just gave me Bohemian Rhapsody and you're like, here's this piece of crap where they're gonna play Queen music, and you get to be like, oh yeah, Bicycle is a great song.
Yeah, I remember that. That's good.
Yeah, I'd be fine with watching that in my bed, 11 p.m. on like a Saturday night. You know, like just that's what I'm doing.
Right.
But like, you know, we have to see this thing winning Oscars. It's just the most by the numbers crap. Ray, I lost my mind with Ray being successful.
Didn't see it.
It was just
trying to help you out by not buying a ticket.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. You know who else didn't see it? Ray. Blind joke, but he was also dead.
Oh.
The best thing you'll ever see related to biopics is Walk Hard. The Dewey Cox, the thing that John C. Reilly did as a takedown of a biopic.
Right.
It's both somehow better than every biopic because it has like humor to it.
Right.
And it explores all the light sides of like, this is a man. I don't care what evil and crap happened in the average musician's life. I feel most of these biopics lose this like sight of the fact these are people that chase their dreams, and unlike 99% of people out there that don't chase their dreams, and then that 1%, 99 of which chase their dreams and end up sleeping on couches and killing themselves, they made it. It was pretty goddamn fun while they made it.
Sure.
Like, yeah, eventually Freddie dies of AIDS, and eventually you release your bad eponymous Motley Crue album. But the Motley Crue film was at least, while this is going down, we were just playing with tits like 24/7. We were just crushing ass 24. Like, it's great. Like, your problems are, oh, my specific mic didn't arrive on time. I'll have to use the stage mic to sing to my screaming 35,000 fans. You know, like, your problems, cool. We all have problems. Your problems aren't like, oh, I don't know, the lion dragged a gazelle carcass into our water and now the village will die because it's filled with bacteria. Like, you had fun problems. Can I do all this coke? I did, you know, like, I don't know. That movie didn't lose sight of the fun of being a rock star, which is what we all want to sign up for, seeing these.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to sign up for Bohemian Rhapsody and explore how did it suck being in Queen? Because, like, I want being in Queen to be really goddamn awesome.
Well, it is, and having never been in a rock band, it is amazing to see, like, from the outside, you look at it and go, why would you ever, no matter what disagreement you have, why would you ever make it to the point that you want this thing to stop? That you want it. I mean, how can it get so bad that you're like, yeah, you know what? We don't need to make any more hits. We don't need to make another $1 million. We don't need to go on another record-breaking tour.
Take a year off, yeah.
It's amazing to me how many, I mean, it happens to almost every big-time rock band. There's very few that you go, wow, they made it all the way through. Like, as much as I don't like them, I don't recall U2 ever having a major blowout with them. With the Edge.
They never stuck it to Larry Mullins Jr.
Bono, and I can't stand U2. But they're one of the few. I mean, the Eagles broke up and got back together 18 different times. It seems like.
I barely know the Eels, but I do know.
You don't know the Eagles?
Oh, Eagles. I thought you said the Eels.
No, the Eagles. Eagles. Sorry, I did not enunciate properly. I apologize.
Yeah,
the Eagles.
We're in Philadelphia doing Philly radio. The Eagles.
They broke up multiple times. You know, Fleetwood Mac just kicked the guy out again.
Lindsey Buckingham.
Right before they went unconscious. I mean, they haven't been relevant forever.
But like,
and they're just like, yeah, by the way, get out.
They're, I believe, like their biggest singer-songwriter too. And they're like, get the hell out.
He was the founder. Didn't he start the band?
He has to have.
So I don't know how you can kick him out.
They did it. They found a way.
He should just be like, hey, fuck you. I started this. Yeah. You can't do this without me. Not going to happen.
And yet, they are touring right now without him. I'm trying to think of other times where, God, some like really embarrassing breakups. I can't come up with anything off the top of my head. You know,
of rock bands.
Yeah, just like really sad stuff. I mean, John Mulaney does a great bit about the Beatles just going away for a year, And then how weird it was, all four came back with their mustaches.
Yeah.
That's all I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Just Mulaney.
well, that's the same thing with the Beatles.
Oh, you know what's weird? Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
What is the deal with Pink Floyd? And it's like the entire band minus Dave Gilmour,
Right,
and then
again.
Dave Gilmour just tours doing Floyd crap.
Yeah.
And so there's like two Floyds pretty much.
You guys go ahead and do it. I'm going to do it as well. And you know what? Dummies will pay us money. That's what it is. Stupid people will be like, well, I just saw the other Pink Floyd, but now this guy's got Pink Floyd too. I guess I got to go back. Take my money.
I do. That is funny. I'm trying to think of like that happens with a lot of crap rock acts though, where like maybe the singer's booted, and then it'll be like such and such as something experience. Yeah, so it'll be like the Steve Perry Journey experience is touring now.
Right,
and then you have Journey, and I'm sorry, call me like just not musically inclined and a rube at the end of the day. All I really give a damn about is that singer. Like Van Halen would
another perfect example. See, they fought constantly.
They toured forever without DLR. I saw Diamond Dave one time, and like I don't know what kid, no name piece of crap he had doing the opening chords, dun, 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 the beginning of Ain't Talking About Love. I'm like, I'm seeing Van Halen right now.
Right.
Like it's Diamond Dave doing his mic tricks, doing his splits, drinking his fake Jim Beam.
Yep.
And I'm like, cool. This is so much like. I could either have Gary Sharon singing, goddamn right now to me.
Right.
Or I can have Diamond Dave doing Hot for Teacher, like the fun Van Halen.
Right.
And Dave will win 10 out of 10 for me.
All of them, it's very rare. Or you'll have the acts, and this isn't the main ones, but you'll have like the acts like the Drifters.
Okay.
Way back 60s kind of R&B beach type music.
You saw them live when you were 13.
I did not. I've never seen the Drifters live. I do have an album or two, but like I don't know if any of the original Drifters are even alive anymore.
No.
But they still have people that are out there touring as the Drifters because they just replace one of the guys. I mean, it happens. All of those types of bands, they do it all the time. They just replace a guy. Be like, you're a drifter? You're very young. Yeah, I'm fourth generation. Yeah. Oh.
For a time, my uncle, who's sadly on his way out health-wise, but he was a guitar, Dimitri Callis. He was a replacement in the Four Seasons, like back when that didn't happen.
Right.
But like 5 years ago, he was one of Bill Haley's Comets.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
Like, he just walked in, and it's like, are you a Comet? And like you said, it's just like, a bunch of much younger dudes. Like you do the mental math, and you're like, this does not pass.
This guy, he wasn't alive. But how are you?
No, it's funny as hell. Like
but all of them
Street band, Clarence Clemens croaked. They just shoved his nephew in there. They got a new black dude, and it's just of the.
Give me another black guy that plays the saxophone. Yeah. Come on,
he's just of the Clemens bloodline,
right?
And it's so fun. Like, I mean, at least Bruce is like so cognizant and a self-aware dude, so he's like, at some point we'll just all have our kids playing for us, or whatever.
But like, I'll be dead, but we'll still be playing.
Yeah, like you'll just see whatever Springsteen / Scalfa, whatever spawn they have, playing live.
But so many of those, and it's a lot of the Motown groups, not even necessarily like the big ones. I'm not talking like the Four Tops or people like that, but the ones that had like 2 or 3 hits, and they just want to keep doing the summer tours. Where they
want to play that Fairfax Fair,
right? There's like 8 different groups that get together and play. Well, none of them are the originals. It's really just glorified American Idol or karaoke, professional karaoke, because you're not really the Drifters. You're just some guys who knew some guys who know how to sing the Drifter songs. That's all you are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's it.
I think
because they're not recording new stuff.
I'm trying to think of like actual bands I can name that even in kind of their original time period, like we're going to get very heavy metal here, but Napalm Death, Sepultura, these are touring acts that literally have no original members. And like, they're not that old, so the original members are doing other bands. Like Sepultura was founded by a pair of brothers, the Cavalleras, who somehow over time were both booted from their own band and are now playing like as I think Cavalera Conspiracy.
Well, it's like, is Blind Melon still around? Because I know the lead singer's not.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
But are
Shannon
they still
Hoon.
around? I mean, that's what I mean. It's like they just, and it's fine, I guess. But you're not really the band.
Well,
So
was
all
it
these
Sublime with Rome? I think they called it. They at least
maybe.
named like who their fake Brad Noel not singer was.
But it's very rare for a band to make it through any type of success and not just implode. And I don't get it. I mean, not having been through it, I will never understand it. But I'm like,
I
just ride that gravy train for as long as you can. Can't you just go home and be like,
till
I hate that dude,
till those biscuit wheels crumble.
but damn, look at the checks that are coming in the mail.
I personally think it's people who hit it young and have no frame of reference
Could be.
of like what it is to not be like. Go back to Motley Crue. Let's flog this pony till its asses
Beat
roll.
the horse.
You're talking guys that like I think they founded Crue. The 3 out of the 4 were 18, 19.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Like, yeah, one guitarist was 30, but yeah, these are. Can you imagine if you had tasted success since you're 18? You would just be like, "Oh, this is life."
Oh, no matter what I do, I don't need these
Literally
guys. No matter what I do,
yeah, everything will turn to gold. Like you and I have had our teeth kicked in a little bit by life. Like if we somehow took off, like I could walk in one day and you'd be plowing my mom like Thomas Hayden Church.
Come on, now.
Did Sandra
That's
Oh in
terrible.
Sideways, and I'd be like, "Carry on, kids." You know, like let's throw this on YouTube too. Like I would do whatever it took after 20 years of not tasting success in any field I cared about to actually taste it. Yeah, I'd sell my soul and then some. You know, like I'd sign up other kids' souls too.
And it's not just male rock acts. The Go-Go's, one of the most successful women's groups of all time, blew up.
Belinda Carlisle,
Absolutely.
hell of a Playboy spread.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. But they couldn't make it through.
No,
They didn't make it through. They completely. And then when they got back together, and I know this because I've seen them on tour.
You were 13.
Was not. I was 17 when I saw Belinda Carlisle on her "Heaven Is a Place on Earth" tour at Merriweather Post.
Question:
Mhm.
Was that the regular finale or was that like an encore finale? Heaven Is a Place on Earth.
Don't remember.
Okay.
I know it was at Merriweather Post, and we were like 6th or 7th row. My buddy and I went because his dad had some friend that had like the season tickets.
Was Belinda's Coke dealer? Yeah.
Well, no, it had like the season tickets to Merriweather Post where you buy like, and and of course he's going to see all the rock acts where he's like, no, if your son would like to have these Belinda Carlisle tickets, here, take them.
Yeah,
I'm not
enjoy.
going. So my buddy was 14, 15 at the time. He's like, I can't drive. You want? I'm like, heck yeah.
55.
I was like, let's go. So we went over, and of course, it's in Maryland. You want to miss traffic. So we got there early, and the mall, of course, is right across from Merriweather Post. Or there used to be. It may not be there anymore.
See, I only went there under cover of dark, so I
Okay.
really couldn't tell you.
There's a mall. I don't even, it's been so long I remember the name of the mall, Arundel Mills. I don't think that's it, but I'm just going to throw that out there, whatever. So we park, and as we're driving to go to the parking garage, we literally stop because there are like people walking out of the mall towards the parking garage.
Okay.
Totally Belinda Carlisle. No question
Wow.
about it. So we stop. She's walking the crosswalk, and we're just like jokingly, as we're driving up there, we'd be like, yeah, it'd be cool if we get her early. Maybe we'll see him out and about. And like 30 seconds later, there she goes. And we both just looked at each other and was like, holy shit. So my buddy rolls down the window and he's like, Belinda! And that's all he got out. And she turned around and waved and kept walking. I was like, well, that's classic. Way to go. You really got her on that one.
Oh, she
Good-
flicked the bean
good
to that
job.
afterward.
She's
yeah.
like, whatever. But it was kind of fun. I was like, whoa,
How did she look in person?
stunning.
Yeah.
And again, this is
Not a face I can pull off the top of my head for whatever reason. Like I didn't see her enough as a kid. Like that was like 1 or 2 years before me.
this was
I know she's a piece.
well,
yeah.
she had cleaned herself up too, because you remember she was a little bit of a porker in the Go-Go's days. She was.
Damn, do I miss doing this kind of radio?
Go back and look her up. Look up Belinda
Oh.
Carlisle from like the early Go-Go's days. You look at some of the videos, she's not thin.
Oh God! So she pulled off the trick where she loses the weight, but
Oh
not
my!
the tits.
She lost the weight. She looked good during those solo albums in the late 80s. She looked phenomenal. But early 80s Go-Go's, she was not thin.
You would have given it to what was her name? Whedon? No, what was
Jane Wyden,
Jane Wyden? There you
Charlotte Caffey, or
go.
Coffee was the other one.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Can you see it?
Dude, I went like one click too far. It's her now.
Oh yeah, it's not good.
Oh,
but she's
God.
she's 60.
She's
at least 60, if not older now.
I'd rather stick it in was the Kardashians' dad that transitioned? What's his name?
Bruce Jenner?
Yeah, well now I'd stick it in Bruce
Caitlyn?
Jenner before
And
looking at these things.
Let me say, I don't see what picture it is. She's living in France, or she was living in France, and she was doing some French albums.
Here,
I follow Belinda's career.
I guarantee you the monitor will die, but doing this.
Hold on.
Okay, we did it. We did it.
So, I mean, that's not a great picture of her, but again, she's probably 60-ish. Go back and
there you go. That's the picture I saw. It's just like the old next.
Yeah, well, of course. But if you do that to any of us, and it's going to be that bad. But she was no question stunning. Even at 17, knowing that she was probably,
especially at 17,
she's probably 13, 14 years older than me.
Okay.
So she was probably early 30s at that point.
Yeah.
Even then, because most of the time, if you're 17, you're like 30.
Oh, really? I was the opposite of that, man.
No. I've always liked older women. My girlfriend now is 3 years older than me. But
you are the outfield lyric.
That's right. But that much of an age gap? No, come on. When you were 16, 17, you'd be like 23, 24. Yeah. Well, 32, 33, you're not going to be.
Well, no, I was actually having this conversation with someone a couple days ago. When you're young, you just have a comprehension of older. So like I'm 12, like literally no one I wanted to stick it in was of my age.
When I was 12, I wasn't thinking about that anyway.
Oh, no, I was I'm Greek. I had sideburns at like 5.
But point being, when you're 17, you're looking at the girls in your high school and maybe the college girls or whatever. You're not looking at 31, 32-year-old.
Well, in terms of like
secretaries or anything in
terms of like I'm realistically going to bang or I lust after.
Well, lust after. Would you lust after a 32-year-old rock star when you were 17?
God, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Like that wouldn't, again, I have a weird thing to this day, probably some self-limiting belief, but when I was like 17, I wasn't even that into like other, like I'd ogle some girls in my class because they start to get jugs like 15-ish or something. I don't know. Yeah,
sure.
Like I remember that was a big day for me when I was like, wait a minute, I'm not thinking about just wanting to bang Cindy Crawford when I tug on my little pud. Like I'm thinking about girls in class. This is awesome. And then it became like a whole new vista of like things I could jack it to. But for a very long time, it was you had
Meg Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got mail days.
Yeah.
But it was just a thought of like all women that are like, something I want are just older. Like you could have crushes on girls your age,
right?
But in terms of like a sex object, my brain wasn't able to distinguish between hot 45-year-old, hot 35-year-old, hot 25-year-old. They just all went into this bin of like older than you, and you're not gonna bang it.
Okay,
yeah,
fair.
It was a weird thing for me. And then years later, like I look back now, very full of regret. Like when I was 17 and 16, like there were girls in my high school all the time that like were flirty, and for whatever reason I was very into like just the band of my year I can date. Like I remember being 18 and like a smoke show, like couple smoke show 17-year-olds were down for my dick, and like I was just like, that's disgusting. Whereas now, like I mean, like I could walk out of here, and if you showed me like a valid, like you turn 18 today, I'm like, all right, we're porking on the moon bounce, lady. And similarly, I remember I was a freshman and a sophomore girl was like, hey, I just shaved my legs today. Like just came on to me like all year long. But I remember one time she's like, feel my legs, they're so smooth. And she was really hot. But I was like, she's a year older than me. She isn't gonna go for my D. Like I lived in a land of self-limiting beliefs, man. Just like loving to exclude myself from anything I could have had. It was real sad and effed up in retrospect.
I give you credit because again, I wouldn't have at 17. Again, she was stunning.
Funny to me that you
I wouldn't
that
have
way.
That I wouldn't have been like, yeah.
So like if you're 17, you had to like ogle like Britney Spears, who was also 17.
She was probably
well, she was a fetus.
3
Yeah, I
then,
get
but
it. Yeah.
no, it wasn't that. It just wasn't like, I guess you looked at it and it wasn't the thought of, oh yeah, she would hang out with us. You know, it's that kind of thing. Like, okay, yeah, she was stunning looking, but it wasn't like, hey, I bet we could go hang out with her.
That's funny. That
I mean, it would never have crossed my
that's-
mind that way.
That is way healthier, like what you're saying, because that attracted you, like someone who could actually be in your real life. Like I lived such a free of girls existence for the most part in high school that I was like, I'm not getting any of this. So like we can let the imagination go wild.
Okay.
And like, yeah, Stephanie Seymour walks in on you and blows you one day. Like it's great.
Yeah, no,
She dumps Axel for you.
yeah, no, I never had that kind of
Man.
thought. But point being, they broke up.
Okay.
Even the Go-Go's, even the chicks couldn't keep it together to make the run, to make all this money. They had to blow it up.
You know who else?
It's incredible.
Do you remember when Kurt left Nirvana?
Yeah, with a shotgun in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did he leave or did somebody?
Yeah, when Courtney Love made him leave.
I mean, do you think it was her?
Um,
Because I'm not, and again, was not a Nirvana fan. I believe I've told this story. I know I've told it on the air. I don't know if I've told it on your podcast, but I've told it on the air of the day that Kurt Cobain killed himself. I was still in college.
Okay.
And of course, it's the grunge era. So you were probably what, 8th grade, 7th grade, somewhere in there?
100%. I was 8th grade, and it was announced to me by one Buzz Burbank.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Circles and circles, baby.
There you go. That's good. Yeah. So I mean, I was probably my last year of college or thereabouts, and he died. And I wasn't a Nirvana fan. I wasn't into Nirvana. I mean, I wasn't a grunge guy. I didn't like Soundgarden, Alice. I just wasn't. Again, top 40 nerd. That's what I was.
By that time, I had gone way into the heavy stuff, so they weren't heavy enough for me at all.
I did not care about Nirvana one bit at all. And I just remember, but realizing again the magnitude of what had happened. So working at the college radio station, we're like, okay, well, we need to do something. We need to get put Nirvana in heavy rotation and all that kind of stuff. And we went in there, and the DJ guy that was on the air, and I knew him pretty well because he'd worked there for a couple of years, is crying. and that's when I was like, what is wrong with me? I've never had that attachment to any group. It'll be sad. Like, I'm a big Billy Joel fan. When Billy Joel dies, it'll be sad. When Frank Sinatra, who I shook hands with, died, it was sad. I didn't cry. I didn't lose it. You know why? I don't know them.
Yeah.
You didn't know him. Quit crying. I mean, I walked in
the
like,
extent of your attachment to them
wrong
hasn't
with
changed.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what's wrong with you? And he was like, I mean, literally, just you guys heard what happened, right? And I'm like, you mean about Nirvana and Kurt Cobain? And he's like, yeah.
Oh,
and I'm like, hey, Sean, I do remember the guy's name.
Yeah.
Do
you called him Sean the sissy.
I was like, do you need to take the rest of the shift off? Because I mean, we can either just hit like play on the CD player, the random disc, and play the rest of your shift, or I'll get somebody in here or whatever. I mean, what? No. I think Kurt would want me to stay.
Oh God, that's the
I can't
thing.
say it without laughing.
Kurt would want me
to stay on the air.
Kurt would want you to test the shotgun, buddy.
I was like, okay, man, just try not to cry when you're doing your breaks.
Oh my God.
And I went in the other room, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand this.
Oh my
What is wrong with people? I mean, and there were people that brought like flowers by the station and wrote notes. Well, I mean, not to him, not to Sean, but I mean, like, we're gonna miss you, Kurt.
But, like, I want to be like it's some brotherhood of music, just a radio station.
Yeah, exactly.
Those vibes will go up the pike.
We were college stations, so we played all their stuff probably before regular radio did. But I was just like,
oh God,
hey man, he didn't work here. Nobody has any connection. We're not.
Yeah.
We know what's going to happen with these flowers. You're going to walk away.
No,
I'm going to throw them out.
That's how the human
This is
brain
just
works. Like, this is my
stupidity.
connection. This is the music source
It
right
was.
here. You might as well put a daffodil on your goddamn copy of In Utero. That's how much it mattered.
Athletes, actors, musicians. Again, I admire a lot of people's work, and a lot of people that I grew up with. They're almost dead now because, again, Hall & Oates are in their 70s.
Good
They
God,
ain't hanging around too much longer.
Wow.
Jimmy Buffett is 70. He's 70 plus, actually. He ain't going to be around too much longer. You know, Huey Lewis he can't even sing anymore. He's got some inner ear problem that he can't hear music.
He ain't so messed up.
It's terrible. All these people, I'm like, wow. I am getting old because all the people that I grew up listening to are almost dead or are dead. And it's just like, when they die, I'll be like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll throw in an album and reminisce and remember where I was when I did.
And they'll be 25 forever in your ears.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be like, okay, on with my life. Because you know what? I still got to pay my bills. I still have my responsibilities. I'll be sad. I'm not crying over it. No, there is not an actor or a musician or an athlete that if they died, I would break down and start crying. Not a one.
Even like a beloved Boston sport. Okay, Larry Bird dies.
No, I wasn't a Celtics fan.
I thought you were a Boston
I'm a Boston fan, was not a Celtics fan.
Why?
Long story.
How did that happen?
Okay, here's what happened.
So wait, they're getting all those championships while you're a kid and yet you're not a Celtics fan?
Here's what happened. I was never an NBA fan.
Okay.
Because my dad is from Pittsburgh. They had no NBA. He wasn't a big basketball fan. My mom is from Maine, and that's where I get the Boston stuff from because I would go up there during the summers, but it was all Red Sox. It was baseball.
Wait, you're born and raised
here. I'm a DC kid.
Okay.
I'm in Northern Virginia. But my mom is from Maine. So I would spend summers when I was a little kid in Maine. I mean, we'd be up there for 6 weeks. They'd just drop us off, and we would just be in Maine. And when you were there, it's nothing but Red Sox. Again, and DC didn't have a baseball team. I wasn't going to root for Baltimore. They're up the road. Nobody in my house cared about Baltimore at all. My dad was a Pittsburgh fan. He was a Pirates fan.
Okay.
He didn't care. So I got the Red Sox stuff was just fed to you because if you're there,
and then
that's all anybody's going to talk about. So my mom, oddly enough, was a big college basketball fan. So I remember watching college basketball when I was 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. I mean, just constantly watching. So I became a North Carolina Tar Heels fan.
Okay.
Because again, my mom didn't like Lefty Driesell in Maryland. She wasn't a fan of theirs. She would root for Virginia because we lived in Virginia, but she didn't root for Maryland. And North Carolina, of course, was their big rival. So I became a huge North Carolina fan. I mean, going back to the late 70s. I mean, I had the jerseys and the T-shirts and the little wristbands when I played in my little league. I had the North Carolina blue wristbands. Even if my team's colors were green, I didn't care if it matched. I'm wearing my Carolina wristbands or whatever. So my favorite college player, when I started to realize, they have this other... I mean, I knew about the NBA. I remember the Bullets. I'm old enough to remember the Bullets winning the championship.
Because I'm picturing you with the West Unseld Fro.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, cool, because everybody around me liked it. But again, in my house, my mom and dad didn't care. Didn't matter to them. So James Worthy was my favorite North Carolina basketball player. I would have been 11 years old when he went into the draft. So I'm 11, and I'm like, wait a minute. And that's when I started figuring out, they're only in college for so long, and then they leave.
They don't go across the Rainbow Bridge.
Well, right. I mean,
they actually
when you're little, you don't know. You don't think about it.
See, it's funny because as a kid, I just that's why to this day I'm not big on any college sport. Like, we just didn't do college sports in my house, so I didn't have this issue.
Right.
I was like Mark Rippon, especially Joe Montana. I was like, he'll just be the quarterback for 30 years.
Right.
Like,
and that's what. Yeah. So with Kyle, you just kind of figure out. So they leave and they go. That's how they go to the NBA. You just you start figuring it out and putting it together. So he was my favorite North Carolina player. So I decided wherever James Worthy goes, that's my NBA team. He ended up as the Lakers. So that's how I ended up a Lakers fan.
Oh, okay.
And just fortunately for me, it worked out. If you go to the Clippers, you're going somewhere else, I'd be a miserable NBA
He
fan.
wound up on the fictitious team that Will Ferrell played for in semi-pro.
That's right. The Tropics or whatever it was. Miami Tropics.
The Flint,
Yeah,
right?
Flint Tropics. That's right. Yeah. So I ended up at odds with a lot of people up in Maine and stuff because I'm rooting for the Lakers who had the big rivalry with the Celtics. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But yes, I ended up being a Lakers fan. And now as I've gotten older, I care. I mean, I haven't been a hardcore NBA fan for probably by the time I got out of college, I didn't care anymore. It didn't matter.
When I was a kid, I knew that summer was coming because that was like Jordan just stomping a mud hole in everyone's ass. Like I spent the last 3 weeks of every school year just watching Jordan F his way through the East.
And I'm kind of one of those fans now that people don't like because I don't care. Honestly, I'm the same with the NFL football. I don't have a team that I root for because after working up in Baltimore and seeing a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes and how, in a lot of cases, guys don't give a rip about the fans, it kind of spoils you on it. So I root for people on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And players that I like, which are becoming few and far between because I don't know. I've been away from it now long enough. I don't really have any relationship or know guys anymore. So I just watch for whatever team I'm gambling on or on my fantasy team. Other than that, I don't care. Same way with the NBA. I'll watch certain players because I like watching them, but I'm not I don't care who wins the title. Doesn't matter to me.
See, I came up when the Skins didn't suck.
I do enjoy watching the Wizards be miserable.
I couldn't pay me to watch them.
I worked for that franchise for 3 years. A lot of people that I worked with are gone. I don't forget though. So I will not. I will never. I will never root for them. I enjoy them sucking.
For me, I'll say this. I think this is going to be the first year where I actively watch another team over the Skins.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm going to do Browns this year.
They'll be fun,
but
it'll be exciting.
Yeah, my attachment to the Skins occasionally, like one of them will be locked out. Like I've had a couple Redskins that I've served as a locksmith.
Sure.
And so
that's cool.
I'm like, oh, this is weird, but all right, I know you. Like, who was it who was on the team for several years? Undersized dude, like a wideout 3, Josh something or other, eventually bounced to
Josh Doxson?
Not Doxson. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to say Josh Gordon because that's the Browns dude. Josh something or other, but he was from Tech, I think, originally. And yeah, eventually went probably
he's a receiver.
Yeah, little dude. I was at his house all the time. That dude was horrible with his keys.
Really, like, you should just be like, here, man, I made an extra copy from the last time, so no charge. Just here's a key.
And it was weird. He addressed me as sir.
Well, just being polite.
Like, sir, I'm locked out again. I was like, I know who you are, dude. Like, I've been to your house 5 effing times at this point.
Does he just forget his key? I mean, how do you get locked out?
I don't know. I was there all the time. He lived right down the street from RG3. He had like a pretty big house. And then like a linebacker that they drafted, I'll narrow it down. A defensive player there's out of Alabama. A dude they drafted like in the 6th round at linebacker this year.
No idea.
Like his dad called and like just had the really like proper sounding Southern dude voice. And he was like, my child plays for the Redskins. And
which they should never tell you because all of a sudden I'm adding 15%.
I didn't like, he was a 6th rounder though. So like, thankfully he just had a townhouse, but like, as I'm driving in, he was locked out maybe a month ago. I forget the dude's name, but as I'm driving into the complex, I just see like
this big black guy hanging out,
a towering dude riding a little scooter around the cul-de-sac. I'm like,
just being bored.
I think that's my customer. Yeah. He was a nice guy. I busted in. He just literally had like a PS4 and some Alabama crap on the walls and a huge TV. I'm like, this is what I would do if I had a couple hundred.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see the dad being like, yeah, my son, who is a complete moron, by the way, has locked himself out of his house.
That was funny, man. That was a great moment to me. Like, I wonder if that's my dude. Like you said, guy's like 6'6".
How do you? I guess if you have just the regular lock, not the bolt, not the deadbolt, but the lock below, if you accidentally screw that up and shut the door behind you, could lock your keys in.
Oh, you want to get locksmith nerdy about it? I'll get into it big time.
I mean, I can't lock myself out of my house.
Well,
through my front door
keypad, so you can type in a code.
Well, yes, on our garage door. I'm talking about the front door. It's just deadbolt. That's it. So I can't.
Oh, with a handle set.
Yeah, I
this
can't
was his
lock
garage.
I can't lock myself out
He was
unless I go out the back door, which has a deadbolt and then whatever the handle lock is.
Your main two manufacturers are Kwikset and Schlage.
Mm-hmm.
Kwikset, if you lock it, it's locked on both sides. Like if it's in a lock position, I cannot turn the inner knob. What gets a lot of people is Schlage, always open from the backside, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a locked or unlocked position. So especially if they moved from a house with Kwikset, they're like, yeah, it was open from the inside, and then they walk out and they test the knob. They're like, what the F?
Oh,
yeah.
Darn it. That's why you get only deadbolt.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to do it, honestly. Just a little passage knob to keep the door shut and then deadbolt it.
Yep, because then you know that you can't lock yourself out.
Smart way to do it.
That's why I've never locked. When I was younger, I had a bunch of friends that would lock their keys in their car all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Never happened to me because I drove an old car that you had to literally put the key in and turn it to lock the car doors.
I thought you were going to say you put deadbolts on the windows.
No, that would be cool though.
Yeah, it would.
But it didn't make much sense because the windows had no pillar between the front window. Whoops, sorry,
okay.
microphone. You know how there's usually a pillar now between like the window in the front of the car and the window in the back of the car.
Yes.
Even if it's just a two-door car, there's still a pillar that runs up the side.
Some kind of trim or something.
Well, not even trim, but just a solid pillar.
Yeah.
Well, this didn't have that. You just had like the rubber, like weather stripping. You had the window and then the rubber weather stripping, and then the window in the back. So you could literally just take like a clothes hanger, stick it in between the rubber weather stripping, turn it sideways, and then grab the lock and pull it up.
I hate that style of car when I'm like opening
like
cars.
The 60s car. You could do it. I could do it in 30 seconds. I can break into any of them.
Well, there's some so the deal is typically like you were saying, you have a full door, it has an entire frame, window exists within the frame. Like, especially I think Mustangs will do this, but there's a lot of like quote unquote higher end cars where there is no frame around the top and the rear portion of the window is just window. And so I'm like shoving an air bladder into the door.
In an old Mustang or a new one?
New ones.
Oh, okay. So an old Mustang, you wouldn't have to do that. I was like,
and I'm just like, oh God, don't shatter, you piece of crap. And then I'm banging like a metal arm against it to pick the lock. And I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. Because a door frame, who gives a damn? I'll put all the pressure in the world on a door frame.
Right.
But like raw glass, I'm like, ugh, this could snap by no problem.
That's why you don't like your keys in your car. Then you don't have the problem anymore.
Not good.
Then you don't have the problem.
Well, you want to call it?
Did we get to everything? You had more stuff.
We did 2 hours flat, I think.
Jesus, is it that long?
Well, we can do another 10 minutes.
No. If we need to, that's a long. People are not going to make it to the end of this.
They're going to make it to the end of this.
We should give away some sort of prize if somebody did.
If you're listening to these words,
they should be a guest on your next episode.
The password, you can tweet me at Papa's Basement at Bill Rowland. There's an H in Rowland.
That's right. ROHLAND.
You can email inpapasbasement@gmail.com. You can also facebook.com/papasbasement. You can hit us up with the password, which is Sasquatch. I like Sasquatch as a password.
I like it.
Just say Sasquatch. We'll know you made it to the end, and we'll do something nice for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was our little
you'll come up with something because it's your show.
Okay. Well, we'll do that then. Let me see. It's been so long since I got out of here that I know that I have 2 different like outro clips I play. Okay. No, I've found the yeah. Okay. I got the endings. Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, Bill, thanks, man.
I didn't realize it was this long. I apologize.
No, don't. This sounds bad, but like I actually had done an episode a couple of days ago
That's
that was supposed to get released.
Trashed it.
It just didn't work. And I feel bad because it was a friend of mine, Joe Gagliardi, is his first episode with me.
What, does Joe suck at what he does?
He was fine at it. The energy just left.
Fine's not good.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not saying that on his first pod ever, he was lightning in a bottle. And,
Poor Joe.
Brian
Sorry, Joe.
Duss. Yeah, sorry, Joe. Sasquatch password works for you too. And then a buddy, Brian Duss, who's maybe done like 5 episodes. I don't know what happened, but it just wasn't clicking. And like 20 minutes in, I just abandoned it. Like mentally, I was just like, I don't care. And they kind of just started talking. I was like, this is happening. I'm just a cuckold on my own podcast. They're talking back and forth.
So you had 2 different guys? There were 3 of you?
There was 3 of us, yeah. And it just...
Maybe you can't do threesomes. Maybe that's what the problem is.
I've done them fine. I've done 4 ways before. But for some reason, that one just wasn't clicking. And then I gave it to a buddy, Sarah, who listens to the show. And I was like, I'm never going to listen to this. I don't listen to my good. I don't listen to my bad. But you tell me is this good or bad? And she was like, I don't know if it's bad, but it's goddamn weird. And it's low energy as all hell.
Oh no, I can't imagine what she says about the ones that we do. There.
Oh, she loves you. Like specifically, she's like, you need to have Bill on more. Like, no BS. No,
she may change her mind after listening to all of our
she'll
bad
enjoy
80s
this.
and 90s rock trivia that we did.
No, but I buried that episode like that Jerry Lewis movie where he played the clown in the concentration camp. Yeah,
was it the day the
clown cried? It's like, yeah, the day the clown cried. And there's just no footage of it to this day. Or like,
no, there is. Somebody's got it locked up somewhere, I thought.
Oh, but like in terms of what's leaked, isn't it like one shot or something?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure if you go on YouTube, there's probably like a 2 or 3 minute thing of it.
If you want some funny stories, Google like people who have seen clips of the day the clown cried. I think not Hank Azaria. Oh God, one of the dudes from Spinal Tap, Harry Shearer.
Yep.
I believe Harry Shearer talks about having seen chunks of it. And he's like,
just awful.
He's like, as wildly inappropriate as you think it is, it's just that much worse. Like it's Jerry Lewis doing Jerry Lewis crap while kids are being marched to the chambers.
Yeah.
Like it sounds so bad, but so good. Like, oh my God, I want that. Oh, I forgot. The outro music actually gets played as a bed underneath all this.
Nice.
So there, we did our.
Is this more of your brother?
No, this is you beat Street Fighter 2.
Oh.
And you're watching the fighters just fight each other while the credits roll.
Nice.
I always liked it. Yeah,
nice.
I used to beat that game like twice a day. That was my entertainment while you were actually having sex.
Good entertainment. Well, it depends on what year that was, but yeah, that's good entertainment.
Yeah, it was the best. All right, everyone. That was Papa's Basement. Real fast, look up Patreon Papa's Basement. I think it's just PATREON. Yeah, / Papa's Basement. But just put that word in Papa's Basement in Google and give me your money. Like, if you're ever like, I've listened to this.
We just gave them 2 hours of entertainment. That's got to be worth $5.
You can give me $1 a month, and then you just forget about it. And then you're like, honey, why are we hemorrhaging cash? And eventually, you like turn on the car in the garage, and you kill your entire family and the pet. The pet didn't deserve that. And you kill everyone, and it was me being that financial drain, and you forgot about me.
I think $10 is nothing.
10 a month, exactly.
Well, I don't know about
Am
month,
I not
easy.
Netflix? Nah, let's just do 20 a month to be safe. I'm HBO Go level.
I mean, I think 25 for the whole year.
Thank you. 2 bones a month.
That's nothing.
You can do 2 shekels.
Somebody can do that. Just don't get a coffee at McDonald's for a day.
Yeah.
Give it to you.
Yeah. Give it to Papa and Roland.
Oh, no, you're the only one that's getting it.
No.
In case the IRS is listening, I'm not getting any of this money.
Sasquatch.
There you go.
We're out of here.
We're home free. School's out, baby.
Good show.
Nothing to talk about, nothing to critique. Great show, great guests tomorrow. You go home, have a glass of wine, whack off. I'll see you tomorrow.
That's the post-show critique?
Yeah, you're the best.
It's my time to go. I successfully burned all my bridges. Nobody loves me, and I don't love nobody.
Then he said penis.
Yeah. Then he said masturbation.
Then he said vagina. That was cool.
Had a mighty hard time, but I'm on my way. Had a mighty hard time, but I'm on my way. It's a mighty hard climb, but I'm on my way. On my way, glory, hallelujah, I'm on my way.